Hi, this is Heidi Schlink here, and I'm just going to do a quick demo for those of you who are making an altered book. And this is a demo on how to go ahead and prep your pages with gesso. And this is the kind of gesso I like to use. It's Liquitex Gesso Surface Prep, and it's already diluted. It's already a liquid, and it's pourable. It's in a pourable bottle, and I find this to be really convenient because I don't really like to mix up and dilute my gesso every time that I use it. And the paintbrush I love to use for gessoing altered book pages is an angled brush. It really gets in the corners nicely, and I just find it really useful. So the other thing you need is wax paper, which I'm sure you have around. And basically, you just put the wax paper behind the page that you're going to gesso. So I have a piece of wax paper behind each one of these pages, and I'm going to put a little more gesso on the first page and a little less on the second page, because sometimes I end up putting too much on, and you can always add more, but you can't really take it away, and you don't really want to waste it. So I usually just start at the top and start getting the gesso painted on there. And I'm going to kind of make sure that I'm holding the page down so it's not flopping around a lot. I use a little less gesso when I get to the top. I'm kind of pulling it up and excuse me, thinning it out as I go. And then you can also decide if you want thick or thin coverage. If you kind of want to see the words beneath the gesso, you can just barely gesso it, or you can add a little more gesso and really get good coverage. I don't really have a preference either way, so I'm just getting kind of a medium amount of coverage. So I'm going to get that all smoothed out, and then that page is done. I'm going to start in the corner here, just really making sure the wax paper is pulled all the way in, because you don't want to get gesso on the page behind it. That might be a page that has an image on it, and you may not want gesso on that image. Also, the reason I'm kind of thinning it out is towards the top is I don't want to get tons of gesso on the waxed paper. It's there to protect me if I need it, but I don't want to get tons on there, because then it might, if the page moves a tiny bit, it might get on the page behind it. Now, when you have an image on your page like I did on here, you kind of have a tough choice. You can either gesso over it if you're not really needing that image, or you can gesso around it. If you want it to be exact, you could tape the edges with blue painter's tape, or you could just eyeball it with your paintbrush, or you could even just do a loose line around it. Another point is that if you wanted to kind of integrate the image into the page, you could just gesso a tiny bit around the edge and then later finish it with paint. I chose to gesso over this, so that one's gessoed over. And I'm going to let that dry. It doesn't take that long to dry. You can use a hair dryer if you're gessoing lots of pages in succession. So I'm going to let that dry, and I'll see you in the next video.